Robbie taking the kid home is definitely how Tom and the FBI will catch him. Robbie brought the youngster from the drug house home with him, as the conclusion of Task Episode 1 discloses. Naturally, this was a very dangerous action, but Robbie had no other options. After Robbie and Cliff took off their masks, the child emerged from the basement, allowing him to see their faces and, as a result, assist the authorities in identifying them. Robbie would have murdered the youngster if he had been more vicious. Task Episode 1 demonstrates that Robbie is not a cold-blooded crook. He is a devoted parent, and while he is prepared to kill drug dealers if necessary, killing children is a different matter. Robbie carries the sleeping kid inside Maeve's home in the closing minutes of this inaugural episode. Robbie could only defend himself by taking him, but doing so would ultimately be his undoing. Tom and his task group will undoubtedly intensify their probe now that a child has been involved. Since this is an abduction case, everyone in the town will be watching for the small child that Robbie is holding. Additionally, Task Episode 1 ending explained and Robbie's plan with the kid. The first episode of HBO's Task began the game of cat and mouse between Robbie, played by Tom Pelphrey, and Tom, played by Mark Ruffalo. These two characters, single fathers who have experienced great grief but have chosen quite different paths, were mostly introduced in this first episode of the series. The conclusion of Task Episode 1 then establishes their ongoing, cops and robbers, relationship. The Task's Robbie, a trash guy with 2 children, resides in the house of his adult niece Maeve, Amelia Jones, whose father passed away. Robbie and his friend Cliff, Raul Castillo, started a string of home invasions to make ends meet, focusing on drug homes, which he can identify by their garbage. The FBI takes notice of this and establishes a task unit headed by Ruffalo's Tom. Tom was summoned back to command the squad that was tasked with capturing these drug house criminals, even though he had been having a break from field work at the beginning of Task Episode 1. 3 comparatively inexperienced agents, Alea, Thusom Bidu, Anthony, Fabian Frankel, and Lizzie, Allison Oliver, join him. Tom and his group in Task had nothing to work with because Robbie and Cliff had a rather effective system in place. But by the conclusion of Episode 1, this had altered. After their friend Peaches, Owen Teague, was shot and died, the group of crooks' situation rapidly deteriorated. Unaware that a youngster was sleeping in the basement, Robbie and Cliff felt compelled to murder the house's residents. What happened to Robbie's brother and wife? In Task, Robbie's predicament is still unclear. We know that he moved in with his brother, Billy, and his daughter after his wife abruptly departed. But Billy passed away suddenly. Although the specific cause